Hello, everyone. Welcome to this conversation on leading the green recovery for small businesses. My name is Barbara Ramos, and I'm the Chief of Research and Export Strategies at the International Trade Center. The ITC is a joint UN-WTO agency fully dedicated to supporting micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises. In case you do not know, June 27th is MSME Day. And to celebrate their contributions to development and to raise awareness on important issues for MSMEs, ITC releases every year around MSME Day its flagship report, the SME Competitiveness Outlook. This year's edition is all about empowering small firms to recover from the pandemic and to recover in a way that prepares them for another crisis, climate change. Today with me, I have somebody who lives the findings of our report on her day-to-day. I have Juliet Namunju, the founder of Chimuli Fashionability in Uganda, whose company transforms waste into fashion with the full inclusion of persons with disability. Juliet, welcome, and thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much, Barbara. Hi, everyone. I'm grateful for this great opportunity.
Thank you, Juliet. So I read your story on our report where you are featured as one of our business voices. And I very much look forward to hearing directly from you about your experiences. But if you allow me for a few minutes, just to share some of the findings from our report so then we can have a discussion on it. So based on the research we've done for the SME Competitiveness Outlook, we found that companies that performed better during the pandemic, or shall we say were more resilient, they had a few business fundamentals in place. And some of these business fundamentals were things like good inventory management, ownership of a business bank account, diversified network of suppliers, and things of the sort. We also found that those companies that were resilient were five times less likely to lay off employees during the pandemic. And they were also more likely to have more stable sales. Now, the bad news is something we all know, small firms tend to be more vulnerable to shocks, whether that's a pandemic or an environmental shock, climate change. And that's bad news, especially if we take into account that small firms are about 90% of firms worldwide. And in some countries, they account for about 70% of employment. So their resilience matters, and we need to do better. And by doing better, we mean helping small firms recover in a way that makes them more competitive, resilient, and increasingly greener. But they can't do it alone. We know that they can do a lot of things on their own, but they can't transform themselves on their own. The network of support from business support organizations, governments, lead firms in value chains, international organizations, they all have a role to play in making small firms more competitive, resilient, and sustainable. And this is where I stop talking, Juliet, and I will turn to you. And I would like to hear some of your experiences with the pandemic and this transition to a green business. So we know that last year was a difficult one for small businesses. And a survey that we conducted in the beginning of the pandemic showed that 1 in 4 small businesses were at risk of permanent closure because of the shock. So I wanted to hear from you, what actions did you take to adapt and ride out the pandemic?
First of all, the pandemic, it has been an hectic, let me call it a hard situation for small businesses, for companies, for everyone. And as an entrepreneur, they've been teaching us our mentors, from your community. This was a wake up for us. And due to the fact that Chimuli Fashionability is a company that not only trains the disabled persons, but also generates revenue. So we upcycle plastic waste and then turn it into durable, sustainable, waterproof garments and accessories. And before the pandemic, our products were quite selling well, global and local here. And due to the pandemic, our market had to lower itself down because no one could buy our products. People lost their jobs, lost their loved ones, and people were stuck. And this affected us, that we couldn't sell in bulks, we couldn't make much revenue like the way how we used to do. So we sat down together with our beneficiaries. Those are people Kanoti and Tok, and the Handcuffed. So we came up with face masks. This mask, we came up with it. It was already almost the same, like everyone was wearing. So we got the African fabrics, the cotton ones, and then we blended them with African fabrics again, but they were 100% cotton. So we made these face masks. Why did we make them? To prevent ourselves from being contracting with COVID-19, and also to make revenue, because it was a product that everyone was yearning for. So we came up with it. But then later, we saw that the people whom we're working with, it wasn't favorable for them. So meaning people who are impaired, people cannot hear and talk. And then we could remove the mask and communicate to them, and even them they could remove. And we were in fear that we were going to get the virus. So we're like, oh my God, then we need to go back, think, which mask can we do that can favor people cannot hear and talk? So we got the other mask, the one that we already made, and we cut. Just allow me a second. I run and get these masks myself here. So this is the mask that I was talking about, this one.
The one that we all have been using.
Yes, everyone that is having. So now when we could communicate to the impaired persons, we could all remove the mask, and even them, they could remove the masks, because remember, they use their lips to communicate and their hands, the same applies to us. And then we were like, no, we need to innovate this. So we sat down with them, and then we had to get a transparent material, cut this, and then put a transparent material. And we're like, what transparent material can we put? We're like, okay, let's use the polythene bags at first. So this is what we did.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So to enable people who are deaf or who are impaired to lip read during signing, and also communicate easily to everyone. And even it was favorable for us. So we tested out to them and even to our customers, and we saw these masks, people loving them, working out, and we have been selling. So the first biggest order that we got, it was from an organization called Diversity. They also empower the disabled persons in the US. So they ordered over 700 of these.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was between last year in August, towards July and August, yeah. So, and the masks started working out and selling. The only challenge we got was about the forging. So when someone talks, since it's plastic, the moisture comes out. And even up to now, there is a transparent material that we want to get from the States or London that can favor this. Instead of using the plastic, you can use that transparent one and then be selling more and more. Though even up to now, we are still looking for funding and then get those materials here in Uganda. Yeah.
What an incredible story, Juliette. So I see that you're transforming plastic into fashion, and you also bringing in the social element. So I'm curious to know, what inspired you to start this business, and how has it evolved?
Yeah, what inspired me is that my background, I've grown up as an orphan with my single grandma in a remote and rural village in Uganda. I lost my parents when I was very young. My father got in a very terrible accident, and his legs became amputated. But in East Africa, all around the world, people with disabilities are being discriminated, they're being underlooked, they're being cast, they're being denied to so many opportunities. And this is the same thing that happened to my father. So he lost his job. Remember, I had already lost the wife. He lost hope and died due to the discrimination that he got from the family, workmates, and so many people. So I was fortunate that I had a grandma who raised me, who educated me, who gave me the necessities as a young kid up to where I am. And she was a tailor. So she could cut her materials. And I remember the small cutters, and she could dump them at the dustbin. So as a creative child, I could go quickly, pick those small cut-offs, get some plastic bags, and then make dolls for myself to play with, because she didn't even have money to buy for my doll. And I could use her hand needle, and this hand needle, I could always steal it. So she didn't know. So I could design for myself flowers, dolls, make some little fashion things, and then I could play with. And this passion of fashion started developing. And when I finished high school, she was like, Juliet, I don't have money for you to join the university, but I have some little money for you to do any short course that you feel like. And then I was like, I want fashion. So I went to a fashion school, and I didn't even do a diploma, but I did a short course in certificate for fashion and design. So immediately when I did that, I got an opportunity to join Social Innovation Academy, that's SINA in Impigi, Uganda, that empowers marginalized youths to become job creators or entrepreneurs. So that's where I got an opportunity to transform my difficulty past into a strength of fighting for full inclusion of people with disabilities and for environmental conservation in Africa, not only in Uganda. So basically, time came, and I also found out a group of youth and whom really inspired me, who had the same challenges like how I went through. Also, their parents were being victimized by disability, and they had this passion of fighting for climate change. And we also came together, put our heads together, and we started working on these challenges. Yeah, and basically where we are, we're not doing quite bad, because our products right now, we have fully developed products that are waterproof, sustainable, and durable.
So Juliet, I'm just amazed about how many challenges you're tackling all at once, right? And you bring your story of inclusion, and then you lead into this fight against climate change. And one thing that our research has been showing us is that, tackling environmental issues is not just about being a good business. It can also be good for business. A lot of the companies we interviewed in Africa told us, about 60% told us that actually investing in environmental measures gave them new opportunities. They lowered costs, or they created new products, such as the mask you just showed us. And I was wondering, for you, how has this been? Is this true for your business? Do you feel that there is consumer demand for environmentally friendly products?
Yeah, there is a demand, maybe for the face masks, because recently we saw a report, and also from, especially to our target customers internationally, that is from Europe, USA, and Asia. So they banned these face masks. I think you've been seeing that. So all face masks that are non-surgical, is it? So they want them to be putting on these masks that the doctors, the normal masks that people put on. So that somehow declined on our market for face masks. But though here in Uganda, the president recently put a lockdown, and it's beginning tomorrow. So no moving to districts, people have to wear masks. And I believe here in Uganda, our market is going to raise more because our government has not banned any sort of mask. And also on top of that, we're also looking at certifying these masks to UNBS here in Uganda, that certifies products such that our masks can reach to everyone globally. And when I look at the other products, the sustainable ones, the raincoat jackets that are waterproof, makeup bags, shopping bags, because all of them are being made out of plastic waste, there is a lot of demand. The raincoat jacket, of course, it's waterproof, it's warmth. So people are in winters, they can wear them, you know, to protect themselves from into that coldness. And shopping bags, you know, you carry your things and they don't get wet. Your laptop, it's safe, it does not get wet. So that is a demand because our products are not just for fashion, but they have a social cause, they're environmentally friendly, they have a story behind. So people that don't just buy products just for buying, but they look at those aspects of impact and the why are they buying them? Yeah.
So I totally agree that, you know, you want to buy something with a story, you want to support something rather than just buying it. And hearing your story, I see that you received the support of your grandmother.
Yeah.
But what other kind of support have you received or would have been helpful in terms of government support, business support organizations, international organizations even? What could they do to help you and others like you succeed in the long run?
I wouldn't say that it's only my grandma, because my grandma just helped me to grow up, educate me. But from there, when I finished the short course in fashion, I was being supported by an academy, by the founder of Shusho Innovation Academy, that is Sina. So he helped me to turn my challenges into opportunities by founding Chimuli Fashionability, or by discovering who I am and also my passion. So they've been mentoring me, they've been coaching me to really see that I become a useful woman in this world who can really support other people who have backgrounds like the disabled persons. And our project has also won several awards. We have been in 2 different competitions. Our first award, we as an outstanding young entrepreneur, we got it from a community here in Uganda, and it really opened doors for us. It really boosted our market. That is when people started getting to know what is Chimuli doing. So we are so appreciative to your community and so many people that have been supporting us, our customers, the mentors from different competitions that we have been into, I can't mention, or yeah.
Well, support is essential, isn't it, for small businesses?
Yeah.
So my last question to you is actually not a question, is a request for a recommendation. What would be your top recommendation or your top tip for small businesses that do not have a lot of time or a lot of resources, but would like to embark in this green wave, in this green transition? What would be your suggestion?
First of all, is to start small and grow big, and also have passion for what you want. Because when I started Chimuli together with my team, we started with, the academy gave us 50,000, and that's what they always give to entrepreneurs to begin. So 50,000 Ugandan shillings. I don't know how much is that in dollars. So remember, you need to do customer discovery, you need to develop your product, you need to do a lot of things, and 50,000, it's less. But imagine I used that 50,000 to start. And right now I'm able to make profits that are beyond 50,000, profits that are beyond 1 million Ugandan shillings, you know?
Wow.
So start small and grow big, and also have passion for what you want. When you have the passion, you'll never go behind. That passion will drive you to reach where you want to be. So that's what I can give to green enterprises. People want to come up with any sort of small business, anything to impact the environment and the community. Yeah.
Juliet, I think this is a great way to finish our conversation today. I thank you so much for sharing this inspirational story and for giving us a human face to some of the things that we tend to talk in reports and just put numbers. It's so refreshing to see somebody who actually puts that into practice. So thank you for participating with us today. Thank you for your efforts to save the planet and to include people with disabilities.
Thank you too. Thanks for hosting me and for giving me this great opportunity.
Wonderful. And thanks to all of our viewers for joining us today. Please check our SME Competitiveness Outlook out on MSME Day. Thank you.